Satida, a planet in the Pegasus galaxy which was left utterly decimated by a Wraith assault. Satida is the homeworld of Ronan Dex, who for years was hunted for sport by the Wraith as a runner. Ronan and a handful of other survivors keep the Satidan civilization alive, now scattered throughout the galaxy without a home to call their own. Over many centuries, the peoples of the Pegasus galaxy reached different levels of cultural and technological advancement, with the threat of the next Wraith culling always looming. And they responded to the Wraith in different ways, some offering sacrifices to try and appease the creatures, while others fought back. The people of Satida were proud, guided by a common sense of honor. Defiant, they fought back against their oppressors. In what may have been a protracted conflict, the Satidans fought the enemy in the streets of their cities, with squads of soldiers fighting the Wraith in close-quarters combat. A young Ronan Dex was among them, fighting valiantly in the city streets against the unstoppable onslaught of a more advanced foe. Ronan was ultimately culled by the Wraith, along with countless others, and rather than being allowed to rebuild for future cullings, the great cities of Satida were laid waste as punishment for their resistance. The Satidan civilization was no more. Beyond this tragic history, we know little about the once great Satidan people. Their level of technology was somewhat noteworthy for the Pegasus galaxy, including large cities and a military armed with chemical-propelled weapons, perhaps roughly approximate to early 20th century Earth. The common design aesthetic on Satida is industrial, which can be seen in the architecture, civilian clothing, and in the military uniforms worn by soldiers. Like many worlds, the Satidans appear to have used their Stargate to visit other planets for purposes of trade. For a long time after the fall of Satida, Ronan was alone, and believed that he was the only survivor of his people. Shortly after joining the Atlantis team, however, he discovered that others from his world are alive. On the planet Belkin, he found Solon Sinsha, who served with him in the same regiment in the Satidan military. Solon told him of more than 300 civilians still living, who had each gone their own way to relocate on various worlds. Also on Belkin, Ronan found Kel, his former military commander, who ordered thousands of loyal soldiers to their deaths in order to save himself.